Right. So, welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be looking at this idea of knowledge as currency,
Okay.
and this is something that we're taking from this book, Knowledge as Currency: Staying Ahead in a Rapid World.
Right.
Um, and one of the things that really jumped out at me in the book was this line that said, "If you're not learning, you're losing."
Yeah.
And it's a pretty powerful statement when you think about it. I
Mm.
mean, what does that actually mean for us?
Yeah, it's a pretty stark image, right? Like
Yeah.
you're actually losing something.
Yeah.
And the book gives some really pretty stark examples too. Like
So-
it talks about like automation in manufacturing.
Oh yeah.
Like just a decade ago, certain assembly line skills,
Mm-hmm.
they were like highly sought after.
Right.
And now like those jobs are just gone.
Yeah.
Like they're largely automated.
Yeah.
And the people who didn't adapt,
Yeah.
they're kind of struggling.
So you're saying is the world's changing really rapidly.
Exactly.
And what does that mean for someone like me
Yeah.
who's just trying to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, it means like the skills that you had yesterday
Yeah.
that were so valuable
Yeah.
might be useless tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
The book uses this analogy of a knowledge portfolio.
Oh, interesting.
Right. It's suggesting that like we should approach learning
Yeah.
the same way like an investor approaches their assets,
Hmm.
right? Like diversification's key.
So you got to have your fingers in a lot of different pies.
Yeah, you got to be constantly evaluating like what skills are in demand, and then you got to invest your time and energy.
Okay, so when you say knowledge is currency,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think of like investing in stocks or something.
Yeah.
Is that a good analogy? Like, how does that actually work with knowledge?
It's a pretty good analogy, actually.
Okay.
Just like with financial investments,
Mhm.
like knowledge requires this upfront investment
Yeah, for sure.
of time and effort.
Of time, yeah.
And, like any investment, there's a certain amount of risk.
Yeah.
You might spend time learning something that ends up being obsolete.
Right.
Just like a stock
Yeah.
can lose value, right?
Right.
But the rewards can be huge.
Okay, so how do we make sure that we're investing in the right,
Right.
knowledge stocks, so to speak?
Well, the book really highlights this idea of being strategic, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about getting any old knowledge.
Mhm.
It's about getting the right kind of knowledge.
Okay, so the knowledge that's relevant
Yeah, relevant.
and valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, for example, the book talks about, data analysis.
okay.
Like, that's becoming increasingly important,
That's true.
like in every field, right?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Like, they mention a case study
Oh.
where there's this marketing professional
Oh,
and they learned Python
Okay.
to analyze customer data.
Mhm.
And they ended up getting like a huge promotion.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's not even just about like the technical skills.
Right.
It's like just being willing to learn new things.
Yeah, it's about being adaptable
Okay,
and being willing to learn.
gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah, the book really emphasizes this idea of like,
Yeah.
learning how to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They suggest that you need to cultivate your curiosity,
Okay.
embrace new challenges, and develop like a growth mindset.
So how do you actually do that?
Well, it's different for everybody,
Yeah.
but I
Sure.
think a big part of it is just being open to new experiences and new ideas,
Yeah.
and not being afraid to fail
Okay.
because like failure is just part of the learning process.
That's true.
Right. And
Yeah.
so if you can kind of embrace that and learn from your mistakes,
Yeah.
then you're going to be way ahead of the game.
So this all kind of ties back to that initial statement, right?
Mhm.
If you're not learning, you're losing. It's not just about like losing money or something.
Right. But
It's about losing out on opportunities.
it's about losing out on opportunities.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the book really drives that home.
Okay.
It argues that in today's world, in this knowledge-based economy, like
Mhm.
the ability to learn
Yeah.
and adapt
It's like the ultimate thing you need.
is the ultimate competitive advantage. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's the people who are constantly learning
Yeah.
who are going to be the ones who thrive.
So it's not just like a nice thing to have anymore.
No,
It's a necessity.
it's essential.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's like continuous learning. It's
Yeah.
not just a luxury anymore. It's a necessity.
That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So what can people listening to this,
Yeah.
what can they take away from all this?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that they need to be proactive
Okay.
about their own learning. They need to be constantly asking themselves,
Yeah.
what do I need to learn to stay ahead?
Mm.
And then they need to go out and learn it.
Okay, so what are you most curious to learn more about?
That's a great question. I'm really fascinated by all this new technology,
Yeah.
like artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
and how it's going to change the world.
That's a great place to start.
Yeah, and what steps can you take today
Yeah.
to invest in your knowledge portfolio?
I think that's a great place to leave it.
All right.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
All right, bye.